What's up guys? This is Evan with Backwoods Adventure Mods. We're going to go through an installation of our 3rd gen Tundra bed rack for the 5.5 foot bed. We have this in two versions. We have a mid height and a full height. This video is going to cover both. This video is going to be for the full height because it's the more involved just because of the extra pieces. The main difference besides the height is that the full height version also has a roof rack topper that seamlessly matches the height of the roof rack on the truck. Now a lot of the beauty in this product is because of the versatility and modularity, and we'll go over why in detail, but if you look, there's a lot of different holes and hole patterns and ways you can use this. We didn't just design this for overland and camping use, although it makes a great platform for your tent and awning, but it's also great for daily use and other adventuring. So you could mount a bike rack, a kayak rack, maybe a fishing rod holder, or you could even use it on a work truck and mount all your tools. Now I want to talk about the strength and intentionality built into each piece. So all these are made out of 5-gauge aluminum, and they have at least 2 bends a piece in it. So when you use a thicker aluminum and you put multiple bends in it, it becomes really rigid. So going piece by piece, I want to talk about why they look the way they do, why the certain holes are there. So first, we have our main upright riser. When you see the square holes, those are intended for carriage bolts. The beauty there is you eliminate the need for the backup wrench. Also, it's a really clean look on the front side with the smooth dome head. When you see this slot, this is our 1/4 inch and 3/8 universal slot. So the narrower part fits 1/4-20 hardware or a carriage bolt, and the wider part is for 3/8. Up top, again, carriage bolts to mount the crossbars. This is specifically designed for a work light or a scene light, and these holes are wiring pass-throughs. You can also mount additional accessories on the side, and the round holes are specifically for mounting the molly panels, which we'll talk about next. These are the molly panels, or the side crossbars. Again, they have multiple bends, 5-gauge aluminum, the carriage bolts for mounting these to the uprights, and as many slots as you could possibly need to mount accessories to. And I want to point out that the hole spacing is ready to accept a Rotopax mount as is. There's also holes on the top and bottom face for other accessories. Now we have the crossbar. It's multiple bends, very rigid. It has the notch for the 3rd brake light and camera. It also has the universal slot, and it has the holes for mounting these molly panels to be used as crossbars on top if you choose. If you ordered the full height rack, the extrusions are what we use for the crossbars. They should speak for themselves as far as how modular they are, but anything that you can mount in a T-slot extrusion, you can mount in these crossbars. The side rails for the roof rack match the profile of the side rails for the roof rack on the actual roof. You can put the extrusions in the round holes at every 12 inches or in the slots. We have some built-in grab handles here, or the hole spacing is built to accept the bolts for the Agency 6 grab handles. Moving on to the hardware, everything is stainless steel, and the bolts are stainless steel with black oxide, so it looks really clean, it's strong, and it's not going to rust. It's time to start putting this together. These are the mounts. They're actually stainless for the superior strength. They're going to sit right here on the bed rail, and they mount to this existing track. We've got these machine T-shaped nuts that go in there. And to install them, we just snap this plastic piece out and put in the track nuts. We're going to do 3 mounts per side, so that's 6 nuts per side. I'm going to show you how to do one, then we'll repeat it 2 more times here, and same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to get the bolts started, but not completely tight, so this can still be adjusted. And in fact, that's pretty much what we're going to do along the entire process. We're not going to tighten any bolts down until we have the whole thing assembled. When it's time to tighten these down, I recommend taking them out one at a time and using some Loctite, just specifically on these bolts. So we'll do that 2 more times here, and then same thing on the other side. As far as placement goes, our crossbars and molly panels will determine that, but as a starting point, we want the back mount pretty much as far back as it can go, and the same, we want the front mount as far forward as it can go, which means we're going to need to pop out the little front plastic cap too. The next thing to do is install all 6 uprights. This is the same for each one. It's going to slide around the mount, and it uses these 3/8 carriage bolts. And on the inside, we'll do a flat washer and a lock nut. Next, we'll put on the crossbars at the top. So those are going to use these 3 1/4 inch carriage bolts, front and back, for each side. So since I'm doing this myself, I'm just going to kind of set this on the other side so it'll rest. And then we'll drop it in here, start putting the bolts in. And just like before, we'll use a flat washer and then a lock nut. Now it's time for the molly panels. You can put these in really however you want. We're gonna pick kind of a symmetrical layout. We're gonna kind of leave a gap, put one, leave a gap, and put the next one and leave a gap at the top. You can change this anytime you want. You could do it asymmetrically where you have solid panels here and just maybe one on the other side. But we're just gonna kind of go with a basic symmetrical layout. By the time we have these in the front and the back gaps, bottom and top, that's really gonna start to square up the unit as a whole. Lastly, on the back upright and the front upright, you're gonna use the furthest most rearward or forward, depending on where you are, set of holes. That's gonna decrease the gap here and align everything else. At this point, if you have the mid-height rack, it's time to button it up. Just eyeball it and make sure that everything's straight, that the angle is the same on both sides. And as far as the sequence, I prefer to start at the bottom and work my way up and then hit these molly panels last. So it would be the mounts, don't forget the Loctite, and then these lower bolts, then the top bolts, and then tighten down the molly panels and you're done. We've got the full height rack, so now we're gonna go ahead and put on the side panels and the extrusion crossbars and then button it up. I'm gonna start by hanging the side panels on each side. As far as what's the front and what's the back, this has a forward slant because it's gonna line up with the slant on the back of the roof rack. And we're just gonna use 1/4 inch hardware and use these 2 holes, those 2 holes, and those 2 holes. Now we're gonna install our extrusion crossbars. We've sent 7, so you have enough to put in every set of round holes. And we're also gonna use one across the back for kind of like a rear panel that you can put accessories in. These are gonna use the same 1/4-20 button head hardware. That's got all the pieces in. Now it's time to start tightening down. I'm gonna tighten down the extrusions to the roof rack first just to make that a nice straight line. And then, like I said, for the mid-height, we're gonna start tightening from the bottom up after that. I'm gonna hit the mounts, then the lower upright bolts, then the top upright bolts, and then I'm gonna hit the molly panel bolts. And that wraps it up. As always, go back through and make sure that you've tightened down all the bolts. And if you have any questions, reach out to us at backwoodsadventuremods.com. The full height's pretty cool because it has pretty cool, dang it, man. I can't do it. I can't keep going. Wraps it up. As always, go back home. Go home. It's Friday. Are you rolling? You wait on me. Okay. Yeah. Oh man. Ready? Yeah. Nope. If you have the mid-height rack, it's time to shoot that again. Overlanding and camping realm. I've never said that before. Why does random stuff come out of my mouth? Bed rack has a lot of different uses. And that's all I have to say about that.